Councillor Jenny Barrie.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you. This is amazing. An opportunity. Thank you.
I've got to say, look at this. You're bearing gifts. Like even David got one of these. What are they? Like a bunny bubbly mint. And that is worth something now because chocolate's bloody expensive now.
Well, everything's expensive. Like with petrol and diesel and like I saw a big coal tanker on the news and it's only got 3 days worth of fuel.
Well, what's your take on all this? Should we plan better?
Oh, definitely. I don't understand how a country like Australia can be only 3 days and then we might not have fuel and some petrol stations haven't got fuel and people are starting to say home care workers in the aged care industry are talking about, well, if I've got to go 200 Ks, I might not be able to go and visit Mary or Sally or
It was actually
Fred.
a good report. I think it was on the Channel 10 News this week where we've got so many canola fields out in Western New South Wales and you can make diesel from canola and we export this canola everywhere else and we can actually do stuff ourselves. I mean, you look at, we've got the 30% of, the world's uranium. We're not allowed to mine it. We export, 6 times the amount of coal overseas and, 6 times the amount of what we use, but we don't want to burn coal. But
96.5, was it 100 tonnes? 96, nearly 100, was it 100 million tonnes? 100,000 tonnes. I don't know, 100-something tonnes of coal. And 90% of that is, international trade. That's why it's so important now, our port. I mean, it just...
But do you feel that even like around COVID time, I mean, I thought that was the greatest wake-up call where everything's running out and we're going, shit, everything comes from China. We're going to have to do something for ourselves from this point, and it doesn't feel like we've learnt anything.
No, well, we need to manufacture here in Australia for jobs. I think with what's happening in the Middle East, and it's a great thing for our airport because people might not even go at Easter for a long trip because of the cost of fuel. But why not come to Australia and why not come to Newcastle? Because we're safe and we've got the opportunity to maybe market now. We can come from Singapore. People have got flights and they're going in all sorts of directions just to try and get to Italy or to get to somewhere across in Europe.
You'll just have to get the caravan out, will you?
Well, I don't have one, but a lot of people do.
I can't see you as a caravan person, just quietly.
No, camping and caravanning, my brother does it and a lot of friends do it, but...
I don't get it. I don't get it. We've had our friend Tony Mowbray, the around-the-world sailor, on, probably would have been about our first 5 or 6 podcast, and he just became one. He bought a trailer. He goes, I've gone to the other side. He's never looked back.
Well, I think you can go to beautiful places like the Northern Territory and you can go off-grid. Yeah. Australia is one of the most beautiful countries in the world, and I think there's so many different states that feature so many different great things, and Newcastle's heritage to the Great Barrier Reef. Like, we've got such an opportunity to get inbound tourism from, unfortunately, the world events that... Oh, don't get me started.
Yeah, look, I go up to the Dutchies Beach at Nelson Bay and you're looking around, that's crystal clear water, and I go, you could be anywhere in the world here and it's only 45 minutes up the road. I shouldn't be spruiking another council on.
No, it's the region. I mean, we have to think regionally. I mean, the Mayor of Port Stephens is over in Singapore talking about the region. I think she's amazing. Like, Leah has taken her role and just run with it.
Yeah. Yeah. If I'm talking funny tonight, because I had a tooth taken out.
Oh, don't you hate the dentist?
Only last night, and it's still stinging. So,
oh dear.
It's actually, I was going to say, what's worse, getting the tooth taken out or watching a council meeting?
The tooth.
I reckon
the tooth. The tooth.
No, I'd rather watch the council.
Nothing wrong with dentists.
After what I went through last night. I'll sit through a council meeting.
You didn't pull it off with a bit of string and a door, did you?
What are we talking about, Jenny?
I'm talking about the old-fashioned way they used to take teeth out.
With the string, I know what you're talking about.
You're lucky you've got a sense of humour.
You've seen Declan's and
yes,
and Gab's podcast.
Well done.
What do you think about it?
I think you really asked Declan a lot of questions, but he has been on council the longest than any of us, and I felt did a really good job. I thought that the questions were interesting, and I found that I was proud to be one of his colleagues because he did a really good job.
I think I got a little bit of feedback from I don't know where it was from, but I think it was more Declan's side saying that Gav got a bit of an easy pass. But for someone hasn't been on council, it's hard to ask questions that he's not going to be able to answer.
Exactly.
And I'm not going to put him up like a lamb to the slaughter here, because it's like everyone starts somewhere. And I keep mentioning the mayor, the Central Coast, Lord Mayor, Laurie McKenna. I mean, he became a councillor one night in 2013, and on the very same night he was elected mayor. He didn't even know how to chair a meeting. And he even said he was hopeless, but he got better and better, and now he's one of the most popular mayors. I reckon I actually said to him when he was in Newcastle, I said, if you ran for Newcastle Council, I reckon you'd get them, because he was just that lovable bloke,
Yeah, but he would be going for the Mariners. That's no good.
No, well, I'll tell you what, when he was at the Jets, he hated the Mariners. Because they had a big fallout. And he was a total Jets man. And I don't know, a lot of people don't know, when he was the CEO of the Newcastle Jets, and Martin Lee was the Chinese owner that bailed out on the club, Laurie put $220,000 of his own money into the club to keep the electricity, to keep the lights on.
Wow.
Didn't tell anyone that.
Very humble man.
Never been paid back since. Didn't tell his wife.
Ooh.
Had to tell his wife.
There goes his caravan.
In the end. But that's
amazing.
That's commitment, and because he knew he had to keep this club going. But again, he was promised by the next owner that he'd be paid back. From all accounts, he still hasn't been paid a cent, but that's another story.
But look at the Jets go now. Top of the ladder.
Oh, look at you. I saw you in your when you went for the press conference announcing that you were going, you had the politician's bloody soccer scarf on.
As you do.
Oh.
My whole family go for football, like rugby league, and they have a whole range of different point scores and tipping competitions. But I'm a soccer fan. I always have been. The Matildas, didn't they do a great job recently? Mm-hmm. Those girls have brought so much attention to soccer. What was it, 75,000 people in that stadium? Mm-hmm. Why don't we get more people going to the Jets games? Because really, it might not be as rough and tumble, but it's an excellent game to watch.
Why don't Newcastle Council turn number 2 sports ground into a purpose-built soccer stadium so the Jets women can play there in a better, I don't know. I just think it's got so much potential, that little ground.
Well, we could put that on the list.
Well, I'm not running for mayor.
Well, you could. That's what I say to people. Why don't you put your hand up if you're so critical? Not you, but
I'm doing it for the soccer community. I'm feeding your brain. Number 4 on the ballot paper.
Yes.
What's in a number?
Nothing. Number 1, vote 1. That's all. That's all you have to do. Vote 1.
We've got a picture of you.
Oh, dear. Here we go.
What are you doing here?
Oh, shaking it about. I know. I shook it too heavily. I might have come out on top if I hadn't. A bit of fun.
We've also got another one of you and Gav together with...
Gav? With the dog? Oh, yeah, that's Councillor Paul's new baby, Daisy.
I was going to say the 3 years look like a really happy family.
Well, I mean, there is
We've got a dog. We've got a dog already.
There is that. You get to meet. I met Gavin only recently. I've known Declan for a really long time. We're going to get together and do an Easter message out of Christchurch Cathedral for Newcastles of the World next Tuesday.
Okay, were you going to sing?
Definitely not.
Well, we're going to get to your Johnny Young days in a minute, but how's the campaign been going so far?
It's going well. We're getting some media. I'm promoting things that are really important to me, and I think people resonate with that, whether it's CCTV, whether it's community safety, major events. Robbie Williams is coming. I'm like, don't know if you're going to ask me about the entertainment centre. I just answered it. Robbie Williams and Pink.
And Pink.
Yeah, both.
Right. As long as it's not bloody Taylor Swift.
My daughter would like that. I have been to that concert already.
What made you want to run? Because it's not the first time, is it?
No, this is my 10th year, and I have had an election every second year. So this is the 5th time that I've run and put my hand up because I felt there was a need for someone to do it. I had reservations at first because I had a lot going on with my ward and I had a lot going on in my family life. And then when I saw there was only Charlotte and 4 males, I thought, wait a minute, the scales need to be tipped here. It needs to be more balanced, not just gender, but for the Conservative people, for someone to vote for because they know me. I've been around a long time. I'm experienced. And I just feel I had so many people say, why aren't you running? Why aren't you running? And then I was getting media, why aren't you running? And I'm like, righto, I'm going to do it.
So in 2021, when you ran as a mayoral candidate, you said you'll bring a new vision for the city and will return the council's decision-making back to the voters after years of poor transparency and poor decision-making. In 2026, I've decided to run so Newcastle voters have a candidate they can trust and support and offer Newcastle a fresh start. Very similar. You've been on for a while. What can't we trust?
I think what's happened this term, we've gone through a lot of turbulence and people can trust me to actually say, right, I'm ready to go. I've been on council for 5 years. I've done a lot of work. I'm now a chair of quite a few committees. I've done my Australian Institute of Company Directors course. I'm a director on a shareholder company of the airport. I've been overseas, so I've got a bit of an international flair about me now. I had a wonderful trip to Japan, so I feel I'm ready.
That was the next thing. The international relations is so important to you because you did go to Japan. I think we got a picture of the place too. Is it
Ube.
Ube
45th anniversary. And
what a beautiful looking place.
It is such a welcoming city. The mayor had us walk down the street with him at a Ube 100th anniversary festival, and the street was so long, longer than Hunter Street, and we walked all the way down and there were thousands of people. Mind you, they were there to see Disney. Disney was there too and singing in Japanese, but it was just such a wonderful experience.
Can you speak fluent Japanese?
No. No.
I can. Karaage chicken, please. You even gave us some business cards.
Yeah, in Japanese. I've got a few left over.
What's the go with that?
I thought maybe you could read Japanese.
Does that say...
Arigato gozaimasu.
Does that say Jenny Barrie, Mayor of Newcastle?
Yeah, it was suggested that we do that, and there's a special way that you get. I should have given it to you the way that you are given, and then you look, and then you turn it around, and that is a very good custom with the Japanese. We had to learn a lot.
Great culture. Is that a city like that? It's very similar. They moved on from industrial decline, which is what Newcastle did, and they in Newcastle they don't need to be Tokyo or Sydney, do they? No,
they're right on the west coast, and they would love a direct plane trip to Newcastle. A lot of the students that we went to a barbecue, and they were just so, come over, and they're really friendly. They'd already been to Newcastle, but they don't like to travel all the way up to Tokyo, and it's about an hour flight. It's not far, but they don't want to go to Tokyo to come over to Newcastle. So a lot of my conversations with people were, let's get a direct flight, but it's not easy doing that.
Why? I mean, you say that no graffiti over there, but
no rubbish.
But what? So what are they doing? What are they doing right that what we don't?
I remember when I first went to Japan on a family trip, there's no rubbish bins. People just know that you don't litter. It's their culture, the respect for their towns and their cities.
Well, where do they put the rubbish if there's no rubbish bins?
Well, it's a good question. I know when we were staying in Fordtronic, which is on the Northern Island, there was a real method. You were in real trouble, or probably with their council, if you didn't do it correctly. You had a small box out the front, and it was all different sections for different recycling, etc.
I mean, as far as graffiti goes, I mean, I don't know how you'd stop it. I mean, I know it's a terrible blight on the city, but how do you? I mean, it's about stopping the perpetrator, isn't it?
I think once we get some CCTV cameras up, I mean, the young people, it's their expression, but there is some feral-looking graffiti on buildings, and it's not a good welcoming to our visitors on cruise ships or people coming to the city. And I've been talking about this since I used to work with Belmont Chamber of Commerce many years ago, and they used to have a lot of people clean it up as programs for people in jail. They would come and clean up graffiti, but I just don't know if that's happening anymore.
Well, we'll talk about Hamilton, Beaumont Street,
That might take a while.
Well, not only we've got graffiti, we've got ice addicts, we've got got everything happening down there. It doesn't feel safe, and I've said this on a couple of podcasts now. Even through the day, dining on the footpath, there's some sus characters that walk by, and if I feel unsafe through the day, there's no way I'm going to go there at night. And that used to be a thriving place to go regarding nightlife back in the day.
Recently, there was the Fringe Feast for the Fringe Festival, and it was amazing. And before that, we had Global Gathering. When the street fairs are on, it was okay. Like, there was nothing wrong. But I became so frustrated, I became the chair of the Hamilton Community Safety Committee, and we've just finished an audit that we're going to launch in April on the 8th. And today, through some of the members, which are mostly residents and business people from the Hamilton Business Association, we've written to the Honourable Yasmin Catley, who's the Minister for Police Counter-Tourism and the Hunter, to say there's just not enough police. Police know, and they're out there, and we've worked closely together with their crime prevention officer.
But I know that Yasmin Catley, I mean, she's a police minister. Even today, she came out. We'll probably get to this a little bit later too. The dirt bikes, going through suburban
e-bikes.
streets. Also, just even the dirt bikes. And she said that there's been complaints down south of Swansea. In that area. But she just said, "Oh, we're going to have to speak to some committees and try and find a solution." To me, it's like, mate, you're the police minister. Just make a phone call. Get some more people. Just fix it. Fix the problem. I just think we do a lot of talking. We do a lot of round table sort of stuff. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we just need to fix the problem.
Well, that's why we decided that Opalgates, we'd got a letter, one of the residents had got a letter, and it's just part of CCTV, Opalgates, more policing, more hands-on services.
Do you think Opalgates is going to do much?
It's part of a solution.
But I get back to the graffiti thing. It's about stopping them. It's about stopping them. I don't think an Opalgate's going to stop an ice addict from jumping over the top.
No, but they're coming. They're coming for the free feed. There's a lot of activities with feeding next to the railway station, and a lady who works in one of the shops on the road at Islington said that that's what people say. They're coming in saying, can we have money, can we have food, we're here for the free feed. So they're getting off the train. They're not paying for their fares, whether they can afford it or not. But if they can afford drugs, why can't they afford an Opal card?
But I suppose that's the thing. It's finding the solution, because, again, okay, we just say it does stop them from coming to Beaumont Street. What just means they get pushed somewhere else. And just move the problem somewhere else.
Well, I think what the issue is now, if I've gone on the train to Sydney and they check my ticket, but I've had a friend, a young girl, who's been on the train early in the morning, and someone's got on and caused havoc with another male and her, and they've gone to the point where they got off the train at Hornsby. So there needs to be, and I believe the new trains that the minister was on the Cardiff station recently is talking about CCTV in trains. So if they're getting CCTV in trains, which is going to be retrofitted in Cardiff, which is great for jobs, but why aren't we getting CCTV? Why aren't we getting Opalgates? Why can't we just look after Hamilton? There's plenty of Opalgates on other historic and heritage building stations. It's just we need to look after Hamilton. Do we move them on? Why don't we look after them? They're all living, a lot of them, in the Hamilton area. I had someone today who was nearly crying on the phone because in front of the library, somebody rocks up at 9 o'clock at night till midnight, which is attracting people to feed in front of the library. And then they're going checking all the cars and setting off alarms in the Commonwealth car park.
So what's this free food thing?
Well, there's a lot of wonderful.
Why can't that be moved on? If that's
Exactly.
Well,
It's in the matter of police
why don't we
now.
don't worry about this Opalgate stuff?
Well, that's part of it. That is part of it. Like, we've got a community safety committee now, and you should see the agenda. It's everything from graffiti, Opalgate, CCTV, a memorial for young James that was murdered in the street. Like, it just goes on and on. It's just part of the picture. But we're a community advocates that needs help from the member for Newcastle, that needs help from the Minister for Police. We've got high-level meetings that have happened for years. I've been on there 4 years banging on for about a lot of this, and a lot of things have been highlighted to the CEO of Council, to the member for Newcastle. He's doing a petition for CCTV, and we're asking for half the funding, which the police minister said in a meeting in James Street Plaza just before I brought something to council about Hamilton.
Why don't you ask the police minister to reopen Hamilton Police Station?
A lot of people have asked for that, but they don't seem to be doing that anymore.
You don't see police that much on the beat anymore. And I know they're hardworking and they've got so much other stuff on their plates now, even social media and everything they've got to cover. Walking the beat is probably the last thing on their minds.
And I can actually say it's not, because this is front of mind. We've got the crime prevention officer who's been with us since last October, and at the last meeting a couple of weeks ago, he said, oh, look, I've got issues at Stockton. I've got issues around. I have to pull back. So he's really busy, but maybe we need 2 crime prevention officers, and they have started doing community safety meetings, the police themselves, which I haven't been to 2 of them because I've been working, but at least the other councillors are now getting to see the stats, the Boscar stats, which it's Merriweather's one of the highest stats in theft from motor vehicles and houses. So unless they're reporting, and I brought a copy, because most people don't realise if you ring up and you get police or you don't get police, if it's an emergency, 000. If it's the non-emergency police line, it's 131 444. But you can go onto a community portal and Crime Stoppers, 1800 333, because 000, because they are busy. They've got DV's up. Like, the society seems to be out of control, and I feel it's, unless people are talking like this openly, what's going to change unless we go, we want more police?
I just get back to this food thing.
Services, yeah.
So is it like a charity thing, is it?
Well, we've got Food Not Bombs, the anarchists, in Awabba Park. We're about to start, Council is about to start a grant-funded program where they're going in, putting more lighting next to the railway station and a whole range. I don't know if you've got any photos of those. I've probably have thousands of them on my...
But I mean, you mentioned before...
They've free food and they won't move on, and people get into the park and start fighting. The transport lady said, oh, boy, there's all sorts of stuff going on.
But that's the thing too. You mentioned that the reason a lot of them are coming and why you need the Opal Gates for is because of the free food. To me, the easiest thing would be to move the free food.
You try moving anarchists out of the park. But guess what? It's going to have to happen because the park is about to be done up with a grant from the New South Wales government.
Yeah, I get that, but it's just like, public safety, free food.
It's a no-brainer,
just move
isn't it?
Just move it somewhere else, and we get the public safety.
One of the food services were asked to go from James Street Plaza, which happened last year. Their lease is up, and we're in discussions with Salvation Army for that. But there's this mob called Street Care, and they just turn up from 9 till 11. And so the police are going to have to intervene. I mean, I'll go down there myself and try and, sort of move them on, because why are they in the back street of Murray Street, parallel to Beaumont, serving food between 9 and 11? I'm in bed by then.
I think if that's the reason, if that's what you're saying.
Well, that's part of it.
To me, that's I think it's just part. But if that's a big part and reason why they're getting off there, Jesus, that's an easy solution as far as don't worry about CCTV. I mean, CCTV is great, but again, someone that's on something will smash a window whether there's a camera up there or not.
Exactly.
Yes, it might, and the way the system is, they go to they get arrested. They get out on bail. Your court date. Sometimes they'll go, sometimes they don't, but they're just doing it again 2 months down the track. So what's that CCTV vision going to stop? How is it going to stop that cycle of drug-affected people?
It can't. It's part of, like, a lady who was the same lady who was upset today about what's going on in her street. She had to have an AVO on a man because he was going to the toilet in the library park. He was being rude. That's when the AMBOs need to come in with police, and that's what has happened. We had a meeting that the Labor team wanted to have in James Street Plaza, and there was a drug overdose while the police were there. Like, there's more needed with Hunter New England Health, with counselling, rehabilitation, and they need to get into the properties where drugs is being sold, which is police are trying to, but that's not as easy as said.
At Elk Architecture, we don't just design buildings, we shape the spaces where life happens. From concept to construction, our award-winning architects bring our vision to life with precision, passion, and purpose. Whether it's your dream home or your next big commercial project, trust Elk Architecture to build what matters most. Elk Architecture, designed for life, built for the future.
I touched on this a couple of weeks ago to just on beautification of the city, medium strips. Now,
yeah, a lot of them are state roads.
So that's the thing, is I was always under the impression that it was council domain, a medium strip.
Some.
So are they sort of contracted out? Are they?
I know, for example, where I work on the highway at Bennett's Green, the medium strip right down that Pacific Highway, council have the contract, like Mac Council have the contract for that, even though it's a state road. So I always say to people, if you don't know, area. Just report it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a grey area. And I'm not just saying it's Newcastle. Lake Macquarie is just as bad as well. But I just sort of think, when we talk about privatising things and giving it out to contractors, grass this high wasn't around, it's only been the last few years you're seeing this. And it's like, if someone's not doing it properly, then who's going to say, hey, call them in and go, stop taking the piss?
I do.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, how many council cars would drive past these unsightly medium strips and someone goes, shit, this needs to be mowed, I'll make a phone call or something.
I think the trouble is with summer and all the excess rain, I mean, I know it in my own backyard, you're just having to mow more often.
Look, I'm banging on about medium strips here, but some of this grass...
Let me know where they are and I'll see what I can do for you.
I was going to take some pictures, but what they do, they poison them, right? So the grass, the green turns to dead.
Yeah.
But they're still this high. They're not being taken out. Like whippersnipper. I'm going to start a...
Take photos.
What are you laughing at, Dave? I'm going to start a business.
Take photos.
Mate, people are talking about they start a business, you'd make a fortune, but you'd have to go through council to get the contract, would you?
You'd have to make inquiries, yes.
You should know. You're on council.
I'm not in the operations. I'm a councillor. I work for my residents.
Well, dig deeper.
Take photos.
I always, when I talk about privatisation, I always think nothing good can happen from privatisation. And it's so many different things. I mean, take the buses, for example, which has been in the news recently.
State government.
Yeah, I mean...
And they're having trouble with safety as well, people being attacked.
Yeah, I mean, the council has supported an amendment of notice of motion to not only take away the contract from the current private operator, but to put it back into public hands, which has had the backing of the rail, tram and bus union.
State government.
You see any place that takes a contract, it's about cost cutting. Any place that takes on a contract, it's always jobs, it's always hours. I can give you a stack of examples. I mean, I remember I was a carpet layer, and I used to do a lot of the schools, and the school's contract for the cleaners got changed over to privatisation, and these cleaners were told that they had to water down the chemicals, so the cleaning products would go further. And then it got sold off to someone else. It got watered down again. I mean, they were cleaning bloody tables practically just with water because there was no detergent left. Even like my mum's over 65 village at Swansea, it was bought out. It's been bought out a few times. When she first bought there, it was 4 gardeners, full-time gardeners. Now there's one contractor that comes in. So what I'm trying to say is that anything that gets privatised, it's almost like they're trying to crunch things to make money, and sadly it's the consumer that misses out.
Well, I had a young girl email me today from Swansea talking about going to one of the schools in Newcastle. But once again, it's the member for Newcastle that needs to intervene and talk. And I think he was even on the news. Tim was on the news tonight talking about buses.
Mm. I mean, is it you're talking about it's a state thing, but I mean, well, why does council have to talk about it then?
Because the Greens seem to bring it. That's the second bus notice of motion to council. There was a notice of motion about the Mater Hospital. There was one of the councillors. That was another thing
I was going to bring up. I'm going to the Mater Hospital, and again, I'm thinking, what's this got to do with the local council?
There's a state election coming, I think. The Greens are starting to posture. I had an independent councillor ring me and vent this morning about the notices of motion that came to council because. And I agree, roads rate's rubbish, but we're more than that, Newcastle. We've got a museum, we've got a civic theatre, we've got lots of things, we've got half an airport. However, it is roads rates and rubbish. That's what people want help with.
Well, this is the thing. We're sort of starting to get into the political aspect of local council, which has been we morph into in the last couple of podcasts as well. But I mean, just a note on Paige Johnson on this bus thing. We're going to talk about party politics soon. But she got up and supporting putting buses back into the public hands. Totally agree. But she couldn't resist a jab at the state government. The Liberal state government that put it in.
Oh, they always do.
But again,
I've been hearing that for years.
It was Mike Baird. He was the Premier at the time, and I was protesting at the front of City Hall. Great, you're doing that, but worry about the problem in front of council.
Exactly.
I mean, I just don't see. It's almost like they can't help themselves. And I'm not saying that it's just Labor. I'm sure you guys have a dig as well when you were in power. So. And I'll get back to. If everyone was independent and just working.
But could they just ring up Tim and know how to talk to Tim? Would they get the respect? If there were 11 councillors that were independent, I agree, there wouldn't be as much politicking people, but it's a training ground. There's been a lot of really good people that have trained in local government. I think, Tim was a councillor, I think Sharon, and I have to talk about Labor MPs because we're in a Labor heartland. But it's the same in Sydney. And I think what's happened, unfortunately, the last council election, a lot of councils missed out on Liberal. So there's extra Greens now.
Well, a lot of them missed out on Liberal because you didn't nominate yourselves.
It wasn't that. It was a head office administration bumble. I know that, yes. And I feel that was like one of the biggest issues, but now the party is starting to reform. But they helped me. They actually helped me to get over the line very quickly when I only decided the night before the nominations shut. So, I mean, at least they're there if I need them, but they don't influence anything with me on council at all.
We'll talk about that a little bit later. But I go to a pub and around the table, all they do is talk about, we just wish they were all independent, and it's like the pub test. It's I don't know.
What did you see with the independents one in the chair?
What do you mean by that?
Well, there has been.
They're not piping up.
I believe in teamwork, and I think I've been a bipartisan councillor since last term. I introduced where 3 of our councillors, a little bit of red, a little bit of blue, a little bit of green, and we work together on notices of motion. Now that's happening and they all want everybody's name on, or they leave people's names off, which was hilarious last Tuesday when Councillor Brooker said, hey, you're doing a seniors and you left the 3 most mature off. But then I thought, that was weird. They didn't ask me about that one. But then I felt, well, I know what the answer is. We need more staff, one person. And so I brought the nomination, like the amendment in, which was then that we have to review because I know they're short-staffed because they're working on so many different things and there's only a smaller team. It's just like, Is there more sport, more money in sport? Like, should there be more money in culture? Should there be more? It is tricky, but if you don't have the infrastructure, the staff, the people, something will go amiss, like the Seniors Expo. But then they put the money into youth, and that's really important too.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I know I'm banging on like a banging the drum all the time. But I mean, this is not because, I mean, Gavin's obviously independent, and I know Declan's probably watching this, going, well, here he is, he's, favouring someone. Well, no, it's not. I've always thought that. I've always thought that. And again, I grew up in a Labor household, and I always couldn't understand when it started to get to that party politics at local level.
It's everywhere.
A lot of people reckon they should get rid of local government altogether.
Well, a lot of people, when you're standing on a polling booth, I've run federally and they'd talk about council. I've run state, they talk about council, and then you do council and they want to talk about state and federal. A lot of people do not understand what local government actually is. But local government is grassroots, and it really is the most important to me. That's why I don't have any ambitions to be state or federal. I've done all that. And it's Labor, so of course a Liberal didn't win, but the experience of that has given me wonderful opportunities to know a bit more about local, state and federal.
Now, you came to Newcastle in 1989.
Yes.
You started a new business called the Johnny Young Talent School, 400 students.
I know. It was like, well, what are you going to do? You go, after I was working in a little short stint in real estate, and then I was told, you're going to go up to Newcastle and open up a talent school. And I'm like, okay. They had one in Gosford.
What was Johnny Young like?
Johnny Young, he came up to us. He was a franchise businessman when we met him. And not very long after we'd started, because everybody wanted to be on TV, so, wow, there's a Johnny Young Talent School, let's all go on TV.
Yeah.
Let's audition for the squad that we took to America. Like, let's do that. And then, of course, the show went, didn't it?
Yeah.
So it was like, So eventually we thought, well, these kids, they haven't got that opportunity of going on television anymore, so we changed it to my husband at the time's Paul B Talent School.
Yeah. And they sort of morphed into the performing arts schools, didn't it, in the end?
It did, yeah. It was like paved the way. There was beautiful dance. I think it was Tessa Maunder and Marie Walton-Mahon, really high, standard ballet. But we did drama, tap, singing, jazz, and people loved it. And we had the big concert with 1,000 people. And a week later, it came down in the earthquake. That first year in Newcastle was amazing. And I remember going into, it used to be next to the Casbah Hotel, and the clock had stopped at, I think, was it 10:15 or 10:30?
Yep.
Yeah, and then a building in the junction was leaning on its side. Yeah, it was a big year.
Right. Well, did you? I was going to say with Johnny Young, I was doing a bit of research, and when you think someone's dead and they're not, I actually like thought,
Elvis.
No, but in the back of your mind, you go, I'm pretty sure he's dead, and then you go, oh, thank God he's still alive. He's 79. It's going well.
Good.
Can you sing any bars of?
No. I was the principal. I was the administrator. I took all the complaints from the families, so that's why I'm a good counsellor.
No. You led from the top. I've heard you can punch out a tune. Come on.
Well, what?
Close your eyes and I'll kiss you.
I'll just sway.
Tomorrow I'll miss you.
You're doing all right.
No, come on.
No, you're not getting me to
I will
sing.
go easy on you for the rest of the podcast if you sing.
Well, it's one for the money, two for the show, three to get ready. Let's go.
Not good enough. A little bit more about yourself. You're born in Dee Why.
Yes.
Then your parents and brother moved to the Gold Coast.
Yes, via Brisbane.
You'll be a beach family. You were a nipperette.
Yes. They used to be nipperettes. I used to love burly heads. We used to put our heads in the sand for the flags. We used to run. There it is. That's the school when I actually moved. That was my name, Mensforth. I come from a family of beach-loving people, and of course surf. That's where my passion for surf lifesaving and volunteering, and that's why I would like to see a 10-year strategy to rebuild some of our surf clubs because 1911 was Cooks Hill, 1907 was Merewether and Newcastle, and look at what they are looking like now.
Can we bring that picture back up? That one on the end, Woy Woy District, 1973. I was born in 72.
Oh, well, I was 62. There you go. There you go.
Full of experience you are.
I am.
You must love the beach.
Oh, yes. I think, that's why I cover up my skin because slip, slop, slap,
Mate,
we were on the beach all the time.
I hate the beach.
Because I was at Umina and,
I go to the beach. I hate the sand. It's overrated. I get burnt. I get stung by blue bottles.
Oh, they're
Stop
horrible.
laughing, Dave. That's what happens to me.
But beach tourism is big. We've got people from western suburbs of Sydney coming to Merewether because it's easier to get there. And that's why there's so many people that need to be saved because they can't swim and they get out on the rip and the people that get the emergency call, please, there's someone drowning at Merewether, and usually it's the board riders as well work together on saving people.
We've got a couple of random picks, I think, Dave. You might have actually one of those.
Look, Currumbin Bird Sanctuary.
Wow.
That is the most amazing place. I had a great childhood, like Gold Coast, Central Coast. We just had so many things that we could do then. And now that's why I bang on about community safety. Why can't our kids just walk down Beaumont Street? Why can't we just let people ride their push bikes? But now you've got e-bikes and dirt bikes. We've talked about that. But I think it's like the rules have gone out the window and now parents are so worried about their kids. But like I used to live at Patonga for a brief time and we'd get on the push bike and scoot down the hill. Like we were a lot braver then, but we didn't have those phones in our face.
And also too, Currumbin, now you go up there, it costs you, I don't know, it costs you money to get in. And to me, we got something better at Blackbutt than Currumbin now.
Oh, I love Blackbutt. Did you see the video I did with Rupert the koala?
No.
Oh, that went over to Newcastle's of the World at Christmas.
Is it somewhere? Can you find it somewhere, Dave?
It's
if you don't find it now, we'll find it.
It's on Newcastle's of the World, and then you go to the archives, and then you go to December 2025.
Geez, any more information, Jenny?
And then I'm second in.
You're blowing Dave's mind here. He's just. We've got another picture.
Oh, it's on my Facebook.
Just go.
You got to dig down all the way.
Right.
Oh, that's my brothers. I've got a younger one, Paul, and an older one, Gary, and they don't look like that now.
What was that? Was that some sort of fancy dress party?
Oh, look, I couldn't even tell you what that was, but my younger brother and older brother still live on the Central Coast. And, yeah, they will crack up when they see this.
You moved back to New South Wales from Queensland, but why was that?
My mother
to move to the Central Coast.
My mother's parents were killed before she got married to my dad, and she was injured terribly and needed a bit of support. She was an only child. So we sort of went up to Brisbane to be near family, near her auntie, and then we went down for my dad to open up a shop opposite the beach, which I used to thought that was pretty good. I used to stand on a milk crate and look out. But then it was like we need to be near Dad's family, so we came back.
Yeah. Ettalong Beach, Ettalong Beach Public School, then Woy Woy High School. Woy Woy,
Spike Milligan's.
I was about to say that.
Don't ask me any questions, so not as old as him.
You know what? I'm fascinated with that guy. I went down a YouTube black hole, this is a couple of years ago, where it was just digging deep. And he spent so much time in Australia, but he's never recognised as an Australian comedian, but obviously because he was, he pledged his allegiance to Ireland but he went to war. There's so many interesting things about him. The funny thing, he talked about Woy Woy. He said, I'll do it in his voice. He goes, Woy Woy, Aboriginal for much water. The only thing is I don't know which Woy is water and which Woy is much.
Well, I fell off the jetty once and my father had to come in and get me off Woy Woy jetty. So, yeah, there's a lot of water.
Oh, yeah. What was it like working in the supermarket as a 14-year-old in Woy Woy?
Oh, I can't remember back that far. Let me think. It was Fleming's and it was just a job. I can remember that it trained me from a young age to work hard.
Yeah.
And I haven't stopped working since I was 14.
Wow.
I've worked harder now in the last 4 years than I probably did in the first 4 years.
Fleming's, Joe. I actually did a story for Channel 10. It was it was closing because it was merging with Woolworths.
IGA or Woolies, yeah.
It was down at Janelli, down on the Shire, near the Shire, and it was the last Fleming's that was closing, and it was the last day of Fleming. And then I did a deep dive, and wow, there was Fleming's everywhere. I never heard of it before.
Yeah. I think East Gardens, I used to have in-laws in Coogee Beach, and we used to go to, there was Fleming's and, I can't remember what the other one was, but there was a gentleman who owned a lot of supermarkets. I think he made a lot of money.
19 years old, you're working for the Reserve Bank of Australia in Martin Place. You would have known you were alive then.
Oh, that was amazing. I virtually was catching the train 2 hours from home, morning and night. So when people say they have to work hard, I go, well, I did 2 hours of travelling either side of a day. But the Reserve Bank of Australia was amazing. It actually gave me an insight into, well, look at how many times we talk about the Reserve Bank of Australia now. I don't know if they keep the gold. I don't think they keep the gold. I think that's gone down to Canberra.
What did you do there?
I went and trained shorthand and whatever it was, TAFE then, not technical college. Shorthand, bookkeeping, lots of things. But I worked in the secretary of the whole bank, and we used to run around and we'd do printing and we'd do proofreading.
Did they have a tea lady?
Well, we weren't that. I don't think so. Oh, no, it was 13 Martin Place. It was opposite Parliament House. Mm-hmm. It was just such an amazing first job.
Wow. You back up to Gosford selling advertising for the Central Coast Express Advocate.
Packer.
You reckon you'd be under pressure selling a full-page ad these days?
Oh, definitely. My first job was actually laying out the newspaper and drawing in on a dummy paper, which, they wouldn't do now. But yes, you see Harvey Norman through the Herald, but I think media is really changing.
Well, as far as newspapers are concerned, they're as thin as this now,
Well, yeah, I don't know if we have to have a daily. I just wonder what's going to happen. I love the Newcastle Weekly. I love the Herald. But it is a concern, printing costs. We used to have a printing press right in Donison Street at Gosford. Well, you don't see that now. It probably goes overseas. I'm not sure where it goes.
I just think I think I've mentioned this before in regards to newspapers. I mean, the Newcastle Herald, they've still got some great journalists there, but they're going by the day, the redundancies, they're taking them. And I don't know what it's going to be like in a few years' time, because I think it's important to
report. Well,
to keep people accountable.
Yes.
I mean, and I know that radio journalists, they're virtually just getting on their computer, seeing the emails come through. A lot of these stories are just already made up by the person's, like a council, Sometimes you'll even get an audio grab where you can just go, put it into the cart, read, change a few words so it doesn't look like I'm plagiarising what they've just written. Pay the grab, easy days,
Well,
no one makes phone calls anymore.
Yeah, that's true. I get a lot of texts and emails, but I'll pick up the phone and say, now look, I work with Maddie and Sage, the council, and
Donna.
and all. I had the greatest respect for Joanne McCarthy. What she did back in her day was amazing. I think she's a coastie.
I think she is too. And I tell you what, it took a lot out of her, that investigation. It really, to this day, it really has taken a lot out of her.
I think I must admit, I went up to Cairns and looked at their program up there, and when I came back, people said, "What's wrong with you?" And I went, "I don't know. It was just hot. It was January, and I'd been running around all of last year, and then I really decided I would go to Cairns, and of course it was stinking hot.
Yeah.
Don't go in January." It was hot.
Everyone deserves the chance to live life their way. At Connectability, they support people with disabilities to build confidence, independence, and real connections in their community. With allied health services and capacity building supports for children and adults, they help people develop the skills they need to grow, learn and thrive. From daily living and community participation to NDIS support coordination and supported independent living. Connectability is there to help you achieve your goals, dreams and aspirations. Connectability, supporting people, strengthening communities.
Rising tide.
Yes.
And you knew we were going to get onto that.
I know. I've got my notes here. I've got pages and pages, but I've got my little pink
No,
note.
you're going to say it all off the cuff here. You've said that rising tide has been allowed to cause mayhem without any proper compensation for businesses and residents. I'm probably reading what you're going to say here.
No, that's okay. I'll find something else.
But when you became mayor, and if you became mayor, what happens to rising tide? What are you going to do?
I had this conversation today that what I would do is present the case, like the pages and pages, the economic downturn, the reputational damage that Newcastle, that's one of the biggest things that concerned me. I would explain that it's not a peaceful or passive and that it just disrupts critical infrastructure, endangers lives, it's illegal. The port has 5,000 staff. What do their families think of when people are jumping off boats and jumping on trains? It's so dangerous. And it's Newcastle. We need to ensure that if whoever it is votes for it, that they understand the ramifications. I would put a business case forward.
I think you mentioned it in your announcement for running for mayor.
I think experience. I'm a mother of 2, a grandmother of 4. I've been single and juggling housing and trying to move around to accommodate my family. I feel that I've been in politics for a long time too, but I have a sense of humour. I bring art and music with me. I've got an event background, and I just think that I have probably, as a older councillor, that I've got the experience.
Rising tide's a good one too.
And rising tide, well, yeah, I would say no.
Why do you have to be nudged by Callum behind there?
Because you had to think about all the different things to say. And that was just one thing. I mean, I don't want to just be a councillor that just says, no, there's so much more that needs to be achieved, whether it's surf clubs, CCTV, community safety, working with state government to get more money, get Broadmeadow, housing. My young grandchildren, what are they going to do? Like my last house that I bought was $390,000. My first was $100,000. Now kids can't buy anything for under $1 million. You have to have two working people or partners or people to get a house or a unit. Like kids are going to have to leave, and I don't know, my niece lives in Cairns and I think her house was 600. Like, where do you go now? And if we're not talking housing, Broadmeadow, it's not the answer just because all the apartment buildings, they're retirees and Sydney investors and Chinese investors. So where are the kids going to go? Do we have to look at the Western Corridor? Maybe. Like, I don't want to get rid of trees either, but why can't we have a tree-lined suburb and put some housing in the Western Corridor? But then we've got the investment of the roads, but people are going out to live there because it's cheaper if you've got a big family.
Are you saying we're putting too much eggs in the Broadmeadow basket?
I'm saying that's a 30-year plan. I don't think there's any eggs in the basket. Like, we're waiting for the state government. There's all this money going into Western Sydney. They're pumping into the airport. They're pumping into the metros. They're funneling all the money into Western Sydney. And what do we get? We've got a basketball stadium that's state, and they're approving a lot of affordable housing to get it through quicker developments. I saw it this week. I think Wickham had got 4 rubber stamp because it's affordable housing. But what are the rents going to be in Wickham? That's right near the railway station. Are they going to be that cheap that kids can live there? I'm worried about kids.
But if you get in, I mean, in regards to this stuff that's come in, there's nothing you can do about it. It's not like you can stop it now.
No, we can't, but we have to look at our streets, our infrastructure, our work with underwater, a lot of old infrastructure in the city. I don't know how it's going to cope with all these people living in there. That's why it's got to be safe.
Back to rising tide, I think we
got off.
We veered off. I mean, the problem is with it, I mean, it doesn't seem to change an angry minority, whatever you do. But minorities always seem to be the loudest, don't they? I mean, look at
their actions.
The Lehman Street fig trees.
Oh, yes.
Save our rail.
Yes.
There was they were passionate, but they're small minorities. You'll find that the majority that they just couldn't be bothered protesting or doing that sort of stuff. And that's why probably the minority gets heard more than the majority, do you think?
I think it's only a small group of people that are professional protesters that are doing all the damage. I have nothing against a peaceful, loving festival. I go to Howling Country. I go to cultural events. I go to festivals, Fringe, Newcastle Writers Festival, but they're not breaking the law. They're not up to, let's go in and let's stop the cruise ships. Let's impact the economy, all because we want to graffiti on a boat, which is so dangerous, a coal ship.
What's your take on climate change?
As a child, there were bad fires. I remember getting on a bus, and I wasn't real keen on buses because I lost some friends in a bus crash. And there was really bad fires then. Yes, I think it's us. We're actually the problem. Overpopulation, too many cars. What's the answer? Do we like there are Fiji? There's a lot of problems, but there were dinosaurs. There was Ice Age. Like, what can we do? China is building all the coal-fire power stations. We need renewable. I saw the German government, they're looking to Australia, all our solar and all our capacity for wind. So I think we have to transition because will we run out of coal? Well, Japanese hope we don't. A lot of our international customers, Singapore, Korea, they're terrified that we will stop sending our coal over. But you've seen what's happened with we're only just getting ships through with – we have to plan for the future. Those miners up in the Upper Hunter and all the associated industries, what are they going to do?
I mean, in regards to renewables and all that, I mean, look at Lake Macquarie Council. I mean, they've decided to now sting people who own electric cars at charging stations. Great that the world's going to be better off, but you're going to be worse off.
Do you know, I saw a picture that there was a lot of charging stations, I don't know, Canada or somewhere, and they're frozen. Like, and there were cars and they couldn't get their little charge because all the machines were frozen. Like, so, is it the answer?
But like I say, I mean, obviously, so you're not obviously not a greenie.
No,
but you.
I'm aware that there has to be change.
But gradual change, or.
Oh, we have to have investment in renewables because I don't want to have the lights go out and the greenies won't be able to plug in their phone. So, like, there's kids, they all say that, yeah, let's vote green, but do they realise that they need electricity to plug in their phones?
You tell that to Charlotte McCabe?
Oh, I think she knows. She knows. Liberals and Greens, we're like, blue and green should not be seen. Look, I have the greatest respect for Charlotte. I do. I have a really good relationship. I mean, it might get fractured a little bit up until the 18th of April, but I have the respect for what she's doing. I have the respect for Declan, because we're experienced. We've gone through last term, and that was a interesting term to cut our teeth on.
E-bikes. Last week, Gavin Morris said that he'd like to see tougher reforms, but also, illegal dirt bikes as well, roads, footpaths. Isn't that a police issue?
It is. The federal government had to bring in legislation. The e-bikes were being sold quicker and being reformed to go fast. I know. I've seen the most horrific things just driving around.
I was walking near King Edward Park about a week ago, and there was 8 dirt bikes going through the park, and it was like, who's going to stop them? How can you stop
police.
them? Well, on a bike like that. Because what they do, they just shoot down alleyways. It's almost like, how do you actually – it's very hard to stop them, especially when they're in a pack. You can only go for one.
Don't they put spikes on the road when cars want to stop?
I think they probably have to sort of be prepared for that. But it's definitely something. It's like and that's the thing too. It's younger kids that are doing it, and it's become like this fad to put it on social media, upload it, and this is what we're doing. The craziest thing gets more views.
The same with, I think, are they getting on the back of trains too? And like, I can hear some agreeing in the background. Kids will be kids, but not. I think I've seen so many shows where they show a death or they show the intensive care, and parents are going.
Well, there was a rider that got killed up at Charlestown. Be close to a year ago now. The police were chasing him, and it's like he was evading police when it happened. And again, pull over. He caused. There's some terrible things. The kid's dead, but he caused that himself by doing that.
Yeah, trying to escape and the fun and the exhilaration. And this is it.
And that's the thing too. Do police? This causes an investigation. The police get looked at and say, "Well, you were chasing him too hard. You're going to have to ease off now." And it doesn't stop the problem in regards to trying to stop.
And then what happens? They just go through the Pacific Highway and knock over someone walking across the road. Like, it's about reforms. Get back to community safety. The footpaths or the roads, anywhere, if there's danger, there has to be a team like that Fernley track. Remember, there was issues on the Fernley track. But then people form and then they do what they think is right, and then something else happens. So at least if you've got a community safety committee, which I want to roll out, which is very successful in Hamilton, at least we're talking about it. I
sat through a Newcastle Council meeting a few days ago. It was like sticking knitting needles in my eyes. Do you enjoy them?
Dr. Schwartz put a smile on my face at the beginning, and I was pleased. Yes, the answer is yes, of course I do. I'm a counsellor.
We've got a picture of Dr. Schwartz. He came in on like a FaceTime sort of thing, didn't he? Look at that.
He's always looked like he needs a haircut. I actually offered to Dr. Schwartz to come in to Newcastle, but he goes up to the Hunter Valley, he said, in school holidays. So I might have to go up and visit him up there because I'm just a bit unsure. I've spoken to a few people about his ideas and they're like going, but we need somewhere for Maritime Museum. We need more cultural space, but do we need 2 floors of what he was suggesting?
The state government has committed to working with Jerry Schwartz and return it back to its former glory, that is the post office, that is, by granting the green light with a Section 60 application. Heritage New South Wales has given it a hurry up. In a Newcastle Herald opinion piece, Council's Executive Director of Planning Environment, Michelle Bisson, expressed concern for Mr Schwartz's commitment to see the project through, citing how he's dragged the chain on another development, which is on 317 Wharf Road, that started back in 2016. Should we be worried?
I just think we need to keep the pressure on and to get him to hurry up, because I'm tired of seeing the hoarding around that post office. Every time I'm in town, I just look at it and a bit like Queen's Wharf Brewery, thank God that's coming down next month. Like all those sort of projects that are just, they'll be city shaping. Why is it there? I know. See, the trouble is now it's damaged. It's going to cost him more. Like Paige Johnson said, why don't you put a tarp over? And I think it's like a circus. It's too far gone. He's already got damage. It's going to cost him more. Can he afford it? I don't know.
But I'm going to get to this in a minute though, but he's not the only owner of this place. There's been other ones that's got it to this point. And he's holding the baby now. It's almost like, well, what were the other ones put under, political pressure to get things done as much as he has?
State government. Before my time, the Indigenous Land Council, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Before my time. I've only been involved with council while Dr. Schwartz has owned it, and I thought, great, someone who's got hotels, wonderful. He'll get the job done.
He was at the meeting. He vowed to complete the post office restoration in 3 years, asking councillors to hold me to it. He also mentioned he's pretty much all his other plans he's done over it was almost like 20 minutes of he's telling his whole life story's resume, and then said, "Now, okay, let's do the post office." I think we got a bit of a clip of.
He's entertaining. He's eccentric, but I only have the deepest respect for developers. Some of those people around the table don't.
The wharf and council, and you can see on the right-hand side, that used to be the wharf, but I'm unable to use it again. Next slide. So now the post office. First of all, I guess I should be thrilled that council have taken an interest in a private building which I, as an individual, purchased. The fact is that I purchased it not to land bank it. That's what the accusations I've had. I've purchased it to make it beautiful again and to make it a great feature, and obviously to get an investment back on my money. So, there's all this controversy of what my rationales are. My rationale and my reasons for buying the post office and my plans for the post office have not changed. It's just I've had trouble, and I'm not actually going to beat around the bush, but I think really a lot of the difficulties that I've had is from Newcastle Council. Okay, as it is, it's probably a lucky thing that it's been brought to the limelight because things have finally happened, and I think it's a great thing that I received a grant, $1 million from Heritage New South Wales, and they've been nothing but helpful. But I just stumble all along the way with Newcastle Council. And it's not with this project only. It's with my hotels, my carousel, my seaplane, the new hotel I want to build. It's with a lot of things. That's just being
like
truthful.
A seaplane.
just
So, Newcastle
on that.
Post Office, it was sold in 2002.
He's mentioned a lot of things, and then at the same time, gave you a good jab. It's all bureaucracy from you guys.
I think it takes two to tango, doesn't it?
When I knew this was going to happen, I'm thinking I've got to watch this. This is going to be we're going to go a flashback to the Alan Robinson days here.
Oh God! Oh God! At least he had a shirt on. I think. I want to see Jerry succeed, and I want to see Dr. Schwartz actually put his money into, when he was talking about putting the 2 floors in first, then building up above, I'm thinking, how can you do that? Like, how can you, I mean, if you build a unit block, you don't move people in to 2 floors, then keep building, do you? I don't know, maybe you do.
He's got these, he's like a crazy idea man, isn't he? The carousel, I think he's still burnt from the carousel.
If you guys he's unhappy.
Let him have the carousel, all this would go away.
Well, that's like blackmail. No, I don't think so.
He's like the real life Willy Wonka, isn't he? He's like, he's got all these toys. In fact, if he delivers this post office in 3 years and it's a grand opening, I want him to do this.
Give us a chocolate. The golden ticket. Ah!
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
That's what I want. That's right. And I reckon the crazy bastard could pull that off too.
Well, it's such a jewel in our crown. It is such a beautiful, beautiful building. You don't go into Sydney and see their post office in rack and ruin.
But I want to just go back to the previous owners. Again, we talk about rack and ruin, but again, he bought it in 2019 off the what we call Land Council. And again, there was asbestos, there was lead in the walls way before Jerry Swartz bought it. It was run down in their time. Do you think that the what we call Land Council didn't get as much political pressure? I'll say that again.
I would think so. I would think so. I can't comment, but who's putting pressure on them in some of the other properties? Look what's happened up at is it Dudley Bluff, that bowling club that's there? Thank you.
Burwood Bowling Club,
yeah. What's the other one? Someone was telling me they're not doing proper things at Wickham,
Newcastle
at the school.
The old Newcastle Bowling Club up near Watt Street, top of Watt Street. And they've also put a claim in for the entire Newcastle University campus.
That's interesting.
Callahan. Yep.
That's interesting.
Which is still
doesn't sound like that will work.
They're still negotiating with that, but I know that the what we call Land Council's chief executive Kamara Kelly has come out strongly regarding a proposed legal changes that just come out today, which would make it more difficult for Aboriginal groups to make land claims in New South Wales under the proposed changes introduced by Labor. Any land the government has issued a lease for could be deemed to be in lawful use, fueling fears of land banking and dispute sites being left dormant. Does that ring a bell with the post office?
Sure does.
Maybe that new ruling, that proposed new ruling, could have, if it happened, say, 13 years ago, we might not be in this. What we call Land Council have made 27 successful claims in the last 40 years. Tired of missing out on the best properties? Stop searching, start winning. At Optimum Buyers Agency, we work for you, not the seller. We negotiate harder, we move faster, we find the homes others don't. Off-market deals, smart strategy, real results. Whether it's your first home or your forever home, we make it happen. Optimum Buyers Agency, your edge in a competitive market. We spoke about politics in regards to politics in the chamber. Mm-hmm. And as I've mentioned before, I'm not a fan. You're a Lib and a proud Lib, but you're at the Fringe Festival the other week. There's a picture. You're wearing red.
Oh, it's a power colour. It's a bright colour. It's my favourite colour. And I'm in a red heartland. And I even had my 16-year-old granddaughter, grandma, wearing red. I love red. I was nearly going to wear red tonight to stir you up. And then, everyone goes, oh, don't wear blue. So I've got a coat of many colours. No, I love red.
Well, why do you want to be in the Liberal? Why are you a Liberal?
My mother always voted Liberal. My father, I couldn't tell you what he voted. He never said. My grandfather, who I never met, he used to play snooker with Sir Robert Menzies, and I've got Liberal values. I had a small business, or I had 3 small businesses through my life, and I just have the values of entrepreneur, employing people. It's more the values. I don't get involved with a lot of the hoo-ha in Sydney, and I've shied away a little bit from the people that just don't like each other. We're a Liberal Party. We need to unite. I mean, look what's happening with One Nation. Barnaby, he took off.
Just staying on that, are you worried about the Liberal Party as a whole? I know you've got no aspirations of being in state or fed, but just your opinion, are you worried about
No, I think it's turned a corner. I was gutted when Susan Ley left, and now we'll see the by-election, either win it or we won't. But I still carry the values, and there are so many people. There's a Women's Council AGM and election, And I'm getting a couple of Liberal councillors, one from Waverley Council, one from Hunters Hill, and across the region, who's going to come and help me. So that unity that brings in a political party, it's not all politics. It's all about promoting your values.
You just look at the South Australian state election. I think that sort of just showed the political discontent. It's just growing day by week by week, month by month in regards to this, and
it's all about leadership.
Do you feel even, I don't know, the people like stability and the fact that the Nationals broke away and then they got back together and broke away again. That doesn't help, does it?
No, it doesn't. No, it's all about what the public perceive, and they go, well, why don't you just get your act together? And it's about leadership. But now we've got strong leaders federally. I adore our state Liberal opposition, Kelly Sloan. I was in the same workplace as her with Hunter Health, Life Education with Healthy Harold, who goes out to schools. Do you remember Healthy Harold? Yes. He was a giraffe that used to visit. I've even got in a costume before. But anyway.
Any pictures
Kelly.
on Google about that?
Kelly Sloan, she's doing an amazing job.
Yeah.
And Labor have said only going to contest. Minns has said he's only going to contest. So
I've met Kelly Sloan, and she comes across as a very good politician. And
she's lovely.
I think we're doing a story on saving bowling clubs in the Bondi area.
Okay.
This is when I was working for Channel 10, but she come across as just a decent politician.
She's a lovely person.
She's risen
I
up the
asked
ranks
her to come up, but she's a bit busy, so she's going to come up later in the year. Maybe I can introduce you.
One Nation received 21% of the statewide primary vote in South Australia, moved ahead of the Libs. And it looks like other states will follow. I know you mentioned about One Nation, but you can't deny that
well, I think they're impacting Labor too. I think it's the loudest voice at the moment. So I think our Libs have got to get a bit louder.
I mean, what do you think Liberal have to do to turn it around?
I think the policies that were at the last federal election, this is just in my opinion, like talking about taking away work from home, like they just have to really get down to grassroots again, and what the people, like cost of living at the moment is just such an issue. Like people can't afford anything extra. So you're seeing hotels not as busy. You're seeing small businesses starting to close up. So I think you've got to get back to your voting base.
You've promised real results. What's been the issue why real results haven't been achieved? You've been, again, on council for a while now. Is your voices not being heard?
I think I look back to the things that I have done, put just a jet rescue tube on the beach at Merewether, and I had to jump through so many hoops and so much opposition just to get a safety thing on a beach. So if someone was drowning, someone could run up and grab it. I've had to do notices of motion where I virtually plead with other councillors to come on board with at Hamilton. I think it's just trying to get the message, but there's so many competing projects, like whether it's number 2 for the Jets or whether it's put a new garbage bin in. I got a garbage bin in. I was so excited, a coloured one near the bus stop at Watkins Street, Merewether. Like you've just got to keep being persistent, but you can't get everything. I want a pedestrian crossing into Gregson Park, but because I'm in this election, I can't do anything until after the election. But it doesn't mean I'll stop trying.
How do you restore civic pride?
Cleaner streets, get rid of some graffiti, safer streets, I think, and people working together, like councillors working together on projects. I find that if I work together in my ward or across the chamber, we do get things done.
You're the chair of the Community and Culture Strategic Advisory Committee, so you are big on culture. Yes,
definitely. We've got a cultural plan at the moment out for exhibition, which has been extended to middle of April. And, the Fringe Festival, 250 shows, and that makes people happy. I saw a gentleman from Melbourne in a wheelchair, and he was a comedian at Souths. I've never laughed so much in the recent weeks. It was amazing. And then I go to see cabaret and dancing at Flamingos, like just the variety. And like with the Writers' Festival, that's amazing too. So many people in town. It brings tourism. Cultural events, look at what's going to happen with Foo Fighters and Robbie Williams. Yeah.
Just on a different type of culture, it's a strange email you sent me regarding culture. You said that the culture is much better in the chamber since Ross left. What did you mean by that? Was Ross the problem?
No. The problem was the campaign. The campaign prior in 2024, was it? 2025? Yeah. Unfortunately, Ross had come from a medical background, but his campaign with the attack style of campaign, not necessarily Ross himself, but his team, they went Labor. Ross was in the Labor Party for 50 years. He left. So you know what they call those people? And this is what I've been told, a rat. Now, he's not a rat. He's a lovely man, and I wish him all the best.
Have you heard any councillors call him a rat?
No, but I have heard the Labor Party talk about it. And that's just the term. Like I go, okay. But it's not even that. Like he deposed Nuatali, so a lot of people were shocked. I think there was a lot of issues to do with him chairing, and a lot of the councillors probably went too far with a lot of their pushing, and the disrespect was not good.
You also mentioned that whoever is the chair must control the rebel.
Exactly.
So who are you talking about when you say rebel? The rebel.
I think it was getting nasty, and I could see it getting nasty, but I've seen a great shift. I've seen Declan turn into more of a politician, probably because he wants to be mayor. But we oppose things, but we work together. But I see us working together a lot better. Charlotte is doing a good job. I think it's all about the culture within the chamber, and it has improved, and that's how I like it.
Did you speak to Ross much?
Yes, yeah. Like Ross was going to come to Ube. Ross came and sat on my son's bed when he was in hospital when he'd just become mayor. Like I have the greatest respect for Ross. I really do.
But what would Ross say if you said that the culture's better since he's left, which you've just said?
Well, I'm sorry, it is. It's a fact.
The Newcastle Airport.
Yes.
I asked Gavin Morris last week regarding potential conflicts of interest between Newcastle and Port Stephens councillors, mayors, CEOs, GMs, all getting a bit of a double dip. Double dip? Yep. Your thoughts on that?
I asked because there was a robust job application where three of us went because Ross had a conflict of interest. He didn't want to be on the airport. So 3 councillors went against 4 people interviewing us. We did our AICD course, and Callum is now on the board. But I spoke to Leah about a lot of things beforehand because I wanted to know what it was like, and she said it's virtually like having a full-time job. And Nuatali used to explain that to me as well. So I think that if you're putting hours and hours and hours and hours on top of what you do for work, on top of your councillor role, why can't they have? Why can't they be paid?
Here's a question regarding your fellow councillor, Liberal councillor Callum Paul. Did Callum help convince you to run as a candidate to split the Conservative vote?
No.
So Declan had a better chance against Gavin Morris. In return,
no,
Declan wouldn't take the airport board position if he becomes Lord Mayor.
No, that was statement came from Ross to me prior to my decision. My decision was because so many people wanted me to run and there was no Liberal that was running, that I felt I wanted to, after 4 years of being a Liberal and working hard behind the scenes and fighting the good fight, I just wanted to step up. And I mean, I watched the Olympics. I watched the, what else was on at the time? We're watching the Jets win. But to get back to the point, like,
But
There's no deals.
But you do
There's no splitting votes.
You do look at the connotations about this, that could possibly happen.
Greens are splitting Labor vote. Independents are splitting Labor vote. Labor might split Independents vote. But at the moment, today, I got an email from the Herald telling me that Gavin is not preferencing anyone. So he didn't even discuss that. So we won't be giving him a hand up. We won't be giving Labor. I don't know what Labor and the Greens are doing, but I think if everyone goes vote one, then the person that the city want will get over the line like a horse race. You know, you want to back the Phillies, you want to back the blokes, like you want to back your Liberal, you want to back Labor, you want the most experienced person for the job.
But you know that, Labor people and Liberal people, the blood runs thick. If there's no one running for the Libs and it's just they're going to go, well, we're not going to vote Labor, we're going to go for the next person. Are you a Trojan horse for Declan?
No, I'm not Labor. I didn't wear red today. I have nothing to do with Labor. What they do, they've got an army out door knocking. They've got an army making phone calls. I am doing something in the church with Declan because he's the chair of the Strategy and Innovation Committee and I'm the deputy chair to put across the world for Easter. That is where it stops. But I have worked alongside Labor councillors and people go, oh, you vote with Labor. We're people voting yes or no. We're there to say yes, we're there to say no. If 12 of us say yes, it's not voting with Labor, it's how we vote and what we decide. It's decision-making processes.
Just with the Newcastle Airport, were they working on were they working on a secret plans with its joint owners, Newcastle Council and Port Stephens Council, almost 2 years ago to access a financial bailout of up to $40 million of ratepayers' funds?
No.
Were you ever told about that, or?
No. The answer is no.
Which was for their loss-making property development business?
No, there was a $55 million grant, federal grant. Then there was another $66 million grant. The airport has made a profit in the last year. It's like when we go to borrow for a house. I've got a mortgage too. Like Gavin's got a mortgage, I've got a mortgage. If you want an international standard airport, like it's not like Western Sydney, the government owns that airport. Like the lease is with Defence. I mean, how good is it that we have international airport now that flies to Singapore, to Hobart, to Perth? Like it's just such a game changer for Newcastle and Port Stephens and the region.
I mean, back in November 2024, there was an airport audit risk and a compliance committee information paper showed that for years that the airport was seeking major ratepayer funding injection, and there were negotiations.
Well,
did you know about?
No, because they're companies. Nuatali and Jeremy, like if you're on a board, you're not allowed to talk about what you do on a board. There's governance. But at the same time, they were getting great funding from the federal government. And I think one of the banks, I'm not going to give anyone a bit of a free ad, but one of the banks, and then they might change banks. Like the funding is there. I'd hate to see how much the Western Airport cost. Like, have you seen that? Oh my God!
So there was no councillors were informed about any type of $40 million
No, because at that stage we are now getting full reports. We're getting leading up with the building. We were getting tours. We're getting information in briefings. Yeah, no, it was just a big story. It was just like another hatchet job. Let's attack council.
Well, Callum Paul sent me a text message after the Gavin Morris podcast, and he said that if you ever need or want to chat regarding the airport, just let me know. But what you just said then just doesn't make sense, because then he says that $40 million bailout is an example of where having shareholders' reps worked, as it was a proposal rejected by the board. So in that text message, he's more or less saying,
I'm not on the board, and.
But you just said that no councillor knew about it. He's a councillor.
Well, he's on the board. He is a board member. He can talk because he's a board member.
But the thing is that a couple of things here is that Callum wasn't on the board then, and everyone all denied it that it ever happened. And this text message obviously says that that $40 million bailout is an example of where having shareholders, reps worked as it was the proposal was rejected by the board. So obviously there was something.
Well, that would have been back in the day of Nuatali being on the board. Yeah, I'm sorry.
And I want to say, as in denied, it's something that looked at from, it was something that was looked at from the documents. Port Stephens Council was open to it. Newcastle was the stumbling block because they knew it would blow up if anyone found out.
No, I think if we didn't think it was a good idea, we'd just vote it down.
Just with the airport, are you worried about the increasing debt level that's there? I mean, especially that council and the airport have refused to reveal how much extra the airport increased its borrowings by last year.
No, well, you've got the federal government now going to be paying rent on a building for a Consberg project. That will be investing and paying back money.
But is that a good business model to be constantly getting loans for any business?
That's a really good question. You can talk to a lot of people who've gone bust.
Well, you've run businesses.
I've run businesses before, and if you have smart operators, a talented board, but we've had COVID. We've seen what can happen to planes. Now we're seeing what's happening to jet fuel, and we're seeing what's happening to fuel. So there has to be other revenue sources. And I want to see more freight come to Williamtown. I've always thought that that's a great opportunity with all our dairy and with all our producers and our wine. And that's where Leah's over in Singapore talking up the Hunter region at the moment.
But this is the thing, but they refuse to reveal how much the airport increased its borrowings. But why is it such a secret?
As I say, I think you should talk and do a bit of conversation about the text because it's not a secret. I have no secrets.
Well, we just found out.
I might not remember exactly what the topic.
But as I said, I asked you the question of were you aware of any $40 million bailout? You said no, which I take that with respect. But you also said that no other councillor knew about it. But then...
Well, I'd have to talk to Callum. I could get him on the phone if you like. He's at an event.
Just with can an airport work on its own without government handouts? I mean, with such large debts, without the Fed and state governments kicking in to attract international routes. I mean, you've got the Sydney, the airport, Western Sydney coming up. They're going to be competitors again. That's another thing you've got to put into the mix.
Yeah, I think we're looking at our catchment of out west to Dubbo, up north. That's like when Jerry said, why can't I have a seaplane? I'm thinking, well, why can't he have a seaplane? Because it takes so long to get to Sydney. I don't know in my lifetime if I'll see a fast train. I don't know why, because Japan can build them quicker, but apparently everything takes so long in Australia. I feel that if we don't have an airport, look at how many people are going to Bali. They've increased the flights to Bali.
But I've been told that they're having to get more international flights to bring money back in.
I think what it is an offer. If I can go to Williamtown and get on a plane like I did to go to Brisbane, but to go to Singapore or to get to Bali to get to Paris, of course I'm going to go local. We're finding people coming to Sydney to get on Newcastle because they've got plenty of parking. Parking's reasonable. I just see it as a win-win-win for the region.
The thing that I just don't understand is that why are they seeking more government handouts?
I don't know if they are.
They are. When they have already secured so much to build for the terminal and the upgrade of the runway.
You'd have to, I think you should get the CEO on here and have a chat to him because I'm on a shareholder
I'm
company.
talking to maybe the potential new mayor.
Well.
That's why I'm asking you.
Then... At the moment.
So what are you going to do?
What will I do?
Some of these questions I'm asking, would you go back and go, we need to...
Well, I'd ask the question. I'd sit and have a meeting with the CEO, who's our representative, and Councillor Poole, who's also on the board, because you don't want to disrupt the board. You've got... Callum's doing a really good job at what he's doing. He's learning a lot and he's got a big career. To just do disruption on an airport board... a governance board with 2 years to the next election, it's best to leave things as they are. You see boards they've just had to put new people on that board because a lady, I think she's running another airport somewhere, Tasmania or somewhere, not sure. But I just feel that if you want to learn more about the airport, talk to Link Horton, because I will find out more and come back on if I'm mayor and answer all your questions.
Yeah, just they were spruiking about getting 2.3 million passengers to get the first grants, and now they're nowhere near that. Now they want more money.
But who's
that's
that?
The airport. So that's the problem, is that they're still seeking money, handouts, when they're so maxed out already. That should be a worry.
I think you'll find that you'd have to come back and I will ask the questions of what project they need funding to give you an answer.
So we'll go back to this. And again, I'll ask you again, because, again, it's been told to me a few times. Again, you are not just running to take split the Conservative vote for Declan.
Oh, no. I think that's hilarious. I'm sorry, because why would I? Why? I'm a Liberal. He's Labor. He's a Labor machine. Like he is door knocking suburbs, and like he wants to win. But I have no red blood in me. I'm blue blood. Like if people are upset about Gavin maybe not getting as many votes because Jenny's running, well, that's not my problem. It's a democracy. First past the post. If it's Declan, Charlotte, Jenny, Steve, Milton, Gavin, first past the post. Gavin's already said no preferencing. It's highly likely we won't. We definitely won't be preferencing Greens or Labor. But what they do, I couldn't tell you. You'd have to talk to them.
On April 1, you've got a couple of days' time. You've got the candidates forum breakfast for the
there's
business
a few
hunter
of those
at the McDonald Jones Stadium.
Yes.
Tickets still available. You're going to be up there up against them?
No, not really, because I've got a business background. I used to work with chambers of commerce. I understand economics. I understand the need to promote the growth in Broadmeadow. Business Hunter is my happy place. Cultural Forum, that's my happy place. As for the one on the 30th, Hunter Peace, well, I'm going to be like a fish out of water there, and so will Gavin, but it doesn't mean we don't go. And then what's the other one? Oh, Hunter Community Alliance. Well, yeah, they're all Labor, but it doesn't mean I won't go, because I'm brave enough to say, well, I'm a Liberal and I'm standing for Lord Mayor, and I will go to these forums because that's part of the campaign until we do our lovely election on the 18th, starting on the 11th.
And then once you go on to be mayor for many, many years, is it retiring back at Burleigh Heads or at the Gold Coast?
No, my family's here. I've got 2 children, 4 grandchildren. I've thought about moving to the Central Coast because all my friends that I grew up with and my close friends are still down on the coast. But they're all retired, so they'll come and visit me up here. I will stay in the region because my son's getting married in August. My daughter has beautiful children. I'm not going anywhere.
How can you see Newcastle in, say, even 20 years' time?
Geez, I might be pushing up daisies then.
No, you won't. You'll still be around.
Yeah, of course I will. I just want to see, wouldn't it be great if we had a cruise terminal? I want to see the post office finished. I want to see cleaner streets. I want to see safer streets. I want to see where young people can go into some sort of housing. Like in Queensland, they've got tiny homes and the zoning's going to have to change. I've got room in my backyard. I could put a granny flat. I just had my daughter and granddaughter move out into a family home to start a new chapter of their lives. So I'm going to look at international students, but I might look at DV victims. I might look at 2 young people that need a house that have come from a broken family. Like I've always liked to give back, and I also could just sell my house. And I think stamp duty is an issue for people who are retiring. They should get rid of stamp duty to free up big houses, and so people like me can go in and live somewhere near the Civic Theatre and kick up my heels in a 1-bedroom flat. But I'm not ready for that yet.
Jenny Barrie, it's been a pleasure. I'm going to whip down to Beaumont Street and get some free food down at the
down at Murray Street in front of the library. No way.
Don't move me on. Jenny Barrie, thank you and good luck.
Thank you and thank you. Thank you.